A nossa próxima convidada é uma das poucas pessoas que conhece um dos pontos mais desconhecidos, salvo a redundância, e profundos do Oceano Pacífico, o Challenger Deep. É autora do livro Mapping the Deep, que, segundo sei, sai hoje em Portugal, e é Chief Scientist da Esri desde 2011. Foi também responsável pela equipa que criou o EMOS, um modelo digital do oceano que ajuda a entender os ecossistemas marinhos para podermos planear ações sustentáveis tendo em conta as alterações climáticas. Please welcome Don Wright.
Bom dia. I'm so pleased and honored to be here with you today, and I thank you for allowing me to speak to you in English. That is my one language. And I would like to shift our thinking from geopolitics to our ocean. Our ocean is indeed our future. It is the fluidity of the ocean, the fluidity of our planet that gives us life, that provides so many benefits to us. It helps us to breathe. It helps us to eat. It helps us to wonder and to worship. But as you've just heard in the prior presentation, our world is in deep trouble. We have so many challenges. And to add to that, time is not on our side. However, technology is on our side, and that is why we are here. We are here to think about and apply the geographic approach through all of the many geos that we are working with today: geovisualization and geoanalytics, geodesign, geocollaboration. And it's wonderful now that this geographic approach is being applied to the ocean. And geographic information systems and all of the allied technologies are so very important for our ocean and our future. And I'd like to talk to you today about some of the developments here, because this gives us hope. This really helps us to move forward to our future, to a brighter future, despite the geopolitics that is so challenging. One of the things that is really fantastic is that we now have a global geographic framework that is coming together, especially from proud maritime nations such as Portugal. We have all of these interconnected sensors and data sets. Everyone is trying to share their data. Everyone is trying to interoperate between their data. And everyone is realizing that spatial is special. Geospatial is special. All of these questions of where, and you saw that in the prior presentation. We have this in the ocean also. Where are the best places to build new extensions to our ports? Where are the best places to sustainably fish? Where and how are we going to provide protection to the ocean so that we have a balance in terms of what we take out, what we put in, etc.? So this really is an exciting part of the 21st century as well, this global geographic framework that has emerged. And we can see this geographic framework in something as simple as a dashboard. So this is one dashboard that shows you the status of nearly 3,800 floats that are in the ocean, providing us daily, sometimes on a minute-by-minute basis, what the ocean is doing, how the ocean is feeling, what are its parameters, how much oxygen is there, how hot is the ocean getting, what are the different nutrients that are being circulated, and again, how this is becoming in peril because of climate change, but also how we are learning new things about the ocean in order to improve this situation. This is just one dashboard, but it has such a huge impact. And it comes from one of the world data centers for the ocean. There's also a single web app that shows you the importance of the ocean in terms of the internet. We have the internet because of the ocean. We're getting our streaming videos and our phone calls, our data sets, all of that because of the global network of submarine cables that are across all the world ocean. And of course, there is a major hub, a major junction in Portugal that contributes to this. But this is a very important part of how we are connected. We need the ocean in order to function every day with our phones and our tablets and our laptops. Now, there are also major programs that are in place right now, especially to support Sustainable Development Goal 14, which is about the ocean and about life in the ocean and about how we need to do better by the ocean. And one of the ways that we are supporting this Sustainable Development Goal is through a massive program right now that's called the United Nations Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development. This is a once-in-a-lifetime chance, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for industry and government and academia to partner, to bring together specific, viable solutions for the ocean. Under the tagline of the science we need for the ocean we want. And happily, Esri and our partners and others who are using geographic information systems are very much involved in this, such as the major UN Ocean Decade program, Seabed 2030. This is a program to give us the detail we need for the ocean that we want in terms of mapping the entire global seabed in modern detail by 2030. We are likely not going to make that 2030 deadline, but we will keep going, and we will likely reach this by 2040. And your Instituto Hydrográfico is making a huge contribution toward this goal. There is also, and you will hear about digital twins very, very soon, but there is a digital twin of the oceans program that is part of the United Nations. And Esri plays a big role in this, as well as several other organizations, mainly throughout Europe right now that you can see on the screen. And the idea of building a digital twin of the ocean is to really assess what humans are doing to the ocean. We have a vast network, this global geographic framework network, as I spoke of before, in terms of understanding what the ocean, how the ocean is feeling, what those parameters are. That is about the ocean in its natural state, but we must assess what we are doing to the ocean, how humans are affecting the ocean, and what are those scenarios going to look like as we continue with our activities in the ocean. And this is really what a lot of ocean digital twins are focused on. What is our contribution? How do we need to change in order to bring the ocean back to a healthy state, or to get the most efficient and effective use from the ocean, again, in a sustainable way? And as we know, digital twins have sensors to monitor just about every activity in the ocean, including Internet of Things kinds of sensors. And there are many, many examples of this. One of the biggest is trying to track illegal, unreported, unregulated fishing. And Esri and our many partners, including Hawkeye 360, are using the automatic identification system signals from ships or high-frequency radar from these illegal ships that are not going to use AIS. We can track these vessels. This is really important because this type of unregulated illegal fishing results in a loss of about 23 billion US dollars per year. And there are many solutions that we are coming up with, including, this is an example of an R studio session that is taking advantage of feature services image services, REST APIs, JSON, and geodatabases, all, of course, linked to a map interface so that we can analyze this problem. And this is through our ArcGIS bridge. There are also contributions such as the Ecological Marine Units, which is a global 3D digital ocean that gives us a volumetric look at the ocean's temperature and salinity and dissolved oxygen and nutrients. And it's being used right now in a number of scenarios, especially to plan for future marine protected areas or to assess what the ocean is doing in various regions. Linked to the ecological marine units is an ecological coastal units characterization. So this is a global characterization of the entire coastline of the world at a 1 kilometer resolution with all of these characterizations parameters so that we can assess how the coast is doing according to our human activities. And we have to get to the bottom of things, of course, always, so there is an ecological benthic units characterization that is in progress. And these are ways not only of mapping the entire ocean seabed, but characterizing that seabed in terms of its structure. Where are the ridges, the underwater mountains, the canyons, many of which are very fruitful areas for fishing, for our biodiversity, very important in terms of the submarine cable infrastructure, alternative energy infrastructure. And in so many of our assessments of our EEZ, as you heard in the prior presentation, there is the depth is a mystery. We see all of these maps showing us only the surface, but a very large percentage of Portugal's EEZ, for instance, is at 4,000 to 6,000 meters depth. These are very important depths. There's another program that Esri is involved in called the Deep Ocean Observing Strategy. This is a network of networks of organizations so that we can keep track of what each organization, what we are doing globally to solve many of these deep ocean issues. And by the deep ocean, I'm referring to 200 meters or deeper. This again is a very important part of this is the entirety of the ocean, really, when you get down to the deepest parts. And there are many UN Ocean Decade programs that are essentially focused on these areas of the ocean that are deep. So we have a sub-program of our organization that focuses on deepening the decade, deepening our understanding as we go through this UN decade of ocean science for sustainable development. So these are the logos of many of these programs. So I've been talking about these broad global collaborative programs, but there is also a whole series of individual studies that are being done that are making contributions as well. And this is where the Challenger Deep Dive that you heard about in Anna's introduction of me is playing a role. A colleague and I were able to go to the very deepest place in the ocean and to map that region with a prototype instrument, and also to contribute to remapping and getting better detail of this deepest area of the ocean. In fact, the entire Mariana Trench was mapped during our expedition in 2022. This is one of the whimsical cartographic expressions of Challenger Deep as well by my colleague John Nelson, which shows you how dynamic this area is as two tectonic plates crash into each other. This is why this area is so deep. And taking this expedition, this dive, was really a fantastic experience. So I'll pause so that you can see what this was like in our submersible, our two-person submersible. And it was a 4-hour descent to get to 10,919 meters. Then we had about 2.5 hours on the seafloor to survey, and this is what one of our robots discovered. The Pectus profundicola jellyfish is a new species that was discovered at this deep depth of nearly 8,000 meters. So we are still discovering new species, new areas of the seafloor, new structures every time we go down and make these types of explorations. Yes, there is space, but there is also inner space, our own planet that we know so very little about. So it is very nice that the book Mapping the Deep debuts today in Portugal, and I hope that you will have a chance to read the story of the Challenger Deep, but also to heed the action call in this book in terms of what each and every one of us can do to contribute to protecting and understanding our ocean planet. Now, I think one of the fun things about the book also is that there's an ArcGIS Hub site associated with the book. That's mappingthedeep.com, which has a Lego stop-motion animated video of the dive. So that's fun as well. Now, in the beginning of our time here, in the initial video that we were shown, the theme of that video was together. And that is the theme of our meeting here, togetherness. And in English, we often have the saying, we're all in the same boat. But I think this graphic is a bit more accurate because given the challenges that we have, we are really not in the same boat, are we? Where there's so many inequalities, inequities, there's so much division. So I think it's truer to say that we are not all in the same boat, but we are in the same storm. And again, you heard about the storm in the prior presentation, so I will not go through that, especially standing here as an American. But the other perspective here is that if we are in this storm together, we're in different boats. I really like what President Tony Remengesau, he's the former president of Palau, has said over and over again, that we need to all be rowing in the same direction. We all need to have consensus and faith and trust in each other as we're moving forward to solve these many problems. And it's a real honor for me to be among all of you who are doing this very, very important work for all aspects of our planet and for all aspects of our society. So I really hope that you enjoy this wonderful conference today. Again, it's been a great honor for me to be here with you, and obrigado.